Begin the reline procedure with a prepared denture whose internal and border surfaces have been relieved by 1 to 1.5 millimeters. To control the thickness of the reline and aid in reestablishing accurate vertical dimension and anterior-posterior positioning, tissue stops may be needed. To prepare the tissue stops, first apply triad bonding agent in a tripod configuration on the denture surface. Allow the bonding agent to bench set for 1 to 2 minutes, then cure the denture in the triad unit for 1 minute. Next, form 3 small balls of triad high flow or regular reline sheet material and place them directly on the surface area of the denture, coated with the cured bonding agent. Insert the denture into the patient's mouth with the bite registration in place and recheck the vertical dimension. Permit the patient to apply very light pressure to seat the denture. Remove the denture and evaluate the tissue stop areas. Trim away excess material in these areas, leaving only enough to help index the denture into position when the reline impression is taken. Next, place the denture in the triad unit for 2 minutes to cure and stabilize the tissue stops. Remove the denture from the unit and rinse and dry thoroughly. Apply triad bonding agent to the entire internal surface of the denture to ensure a firm bond of the dualign reline material and the original acrylic surface of the appliance. Allow the denture to bench set for 1 to 2 minutes and then cure it again in the triad unit for 1 minute. During this procedure, you may notice that the triad's light curing process transfers a small amount of heat to an acrylic appliance. This heat is incidental to the light curing process and actually increases the physical strength of most triad materials. However, because of dualign's unique physical properties, heat absorbed during curing can cause the reline material to set prematurely. Therefore, be sure to allow the denture to cool to room temperature before applying the dualign reline material. The denture is now ready for relining with dualign. Start by inserting the plunger and seating the dualign dual cartridge on the dispensing gun. Before attaching the gun's mixing tip, remove the cap from the cartridge and apply slight pressure to the dispensing grip to initiate a smooth, even flow of material. Now, placing the mixing tip on the cartridge and apply slow, even pressure on the dispensing gun's grip to express dualign onto the denture. Avoid excessive pressure or rapid pumping of the gun's handle to protect against building back pressure on the dualign cartridge and possibly bursting the seal. It will take 30 to 45 seconds to dispense sufficient dualign reline material onto the denture surface. Allow dualign to sit in the denture for about 2 minutes. During this time, the product will begin to thicken. Use the triad modeling tool to burst any air bubbles which may have formed as you dispense the product. Additionally, as the reline material begins to gel, use the triad modeling tool or a spatula to position dualign smoothly over the denture surface, making sure to spread material up and around the border areas. After about 2 minutes, reseat the denture in the patient's mouth and instruct the patient to use very light pressure to guide the denture into occlusion. Check the denture for excess flow of dualign material out the posterior and guide the patient through border molding movements as you would for a denture impression. The denture reline should be ready to remove from the patient's mouth in about 2 to 3 minutes. This should be approximately 5 minutes after the dualign reline material was first expressed onto the prepared denture. Now examine the reline. If necessary, add more dualign to any areas where there are shortages. Additional bonding agent may be required to facilitate bonding the second layer of dualign to the first. Wait 1 to 2 minutes for the newly applied dualign to begin to gel before reinserting the denture into the patient's mouth. Have the patient repeat the light pressure and border molding movements as before. At this point, the dual-line reline will be rigid, but not at full strength. Carefully remove any excess material from around the denture teeth using a scaler. You may also remove excess material from the border areas using a scalpel or laboratory knife. Apply Triad air barrier coating to the entire surface of the dual-line reline. Place the dual-line denture in the Triad unit for 5 minutes to fully cure the reline. Remove the appliance and rinse away any traces of air barrier coating. Finish and polish.